I was a little worried early. I didn't think they had a little good juice and energy in the Indy periods in the 7-on-7, but once the scrimmage started, they had good energy, good enthusiasm. I was really pleased with the scrimmage. It was the first scrimmage since I've been here that I thought both sides of the ball did some things well. There was some momentum changes in the scrimmage where one part of the scrimmage, the defense did a little better than one part of the scrimmage, the offense did a little better. Did a lot of situational football today. Put the ball out there and say, it's coming out. Put the ball out there, it's red area. Put the ball out there, it's 30 seconds, need a field goal, one time out, and give them some scenarios and just play them out. Did about 4 or 5 end of the game situations. Did a get the ball back situation. Did a second 10 and third down period, which all was live. So it was good practice for us, good tackling, and good time to get out there and hit people. So I was pleased with the way things went. Neither side really dominated. I can honestly say that it was a very competitive battle, and I thought there was a lot of good things out of the scrimmage.
It sounds like this was not a G-Day dress rehearsal per se, but this was offense versus defense like a normal scrimmage.
Well, the G-Day is offense versus defense, right? And this today was actually more like the G-Day as far as we put the ball out there and just said play, and we had the offense versus the defense, where we sometimes in these scrimmages we do ones versus twos and twos versus ones.
Yeah.
We didn't do that today. We went ones on ones, twos on twos, which is how G-Day is, because it's ones on ones and twos on twos.
But it wasn't red versus black, per se, divided.
No, we didn't have jersey colors, but we did ones versus ones and twos versus twos, because I thought that the competition would be better, and that worked out good, because the competition was a little better. We probably had, it was a little more lopsided the last time we scrimmaged, because we did some ones versus twos and twos versus ones. So I thought it made for better competition today.
Kirby, given how you were talking about the defense at the beginning of the week, was this an encouraging week for them to kind of come back on?
Yeah, Tuesday wasn't real encouraging, but Thursday was much better. And then today, I mean, I can't say that we dominated defensively out there. They certainly made some good plays. There was a lot of good hits, spirits, run to the ball. I mean, when you got good backs, there's going to be missed tackles. When you got a quarterback that can make some throws, there's going to be some one-on-one battles outside that you just don't win. But I was very encouraged how hard they played.
When you look back at how much you guys struggled at times on offense last year, and you see some of the things that they're able to do, whether you're not happy with the defense or not, I mean, are you encouraged by that? Are you still in wait-and-see mode about that? I mean, how are you kind of approaching that yourself?
Yeah, I think you're always in wait-and-see mode as a coach, because you're trying to get better. So I think we've improved some things, but we've got some things we've got to improve on. We've got to be able to run the ball consistently better, and we did that early in the spring, but I can't say that we did it the whole time today. There was times where we ran out and running it, and we didn't get much movement, and it started to be flashbacks, and we got to be able to do that. We got to be creative and get the ball to playmakers in space and allow them to do things. We got some plays to do that with, but I think Jacob specifically has taken good strides, but he has to continue to make good decisions and get the ball in the right spot.
Coach, what have you seen from Nick in these two scrimmages so far, and what's it like having him at full speed this year compared to he was really?
Oh, it's really good. I mean, he's a guy really fast, physical, hard to tackle. His big roadblock has been for him to really work on catching the ball out of the backfield even better and becoming a weapon that way. He's done a good job of that in the last 2 scrimmages.
So how's it going to help him once the regular season comes around to have had a full spring this spring?
Well, I think it's going to be huge for him. I think just his health in and of itself. I mean, the guy's he's a different guy this spring compared to last spring for obvious reasons. But I think that you know more about last fall by what you see this spring out of Nick, that he's a lot closer to 100%. He's certainly got a lot more burst and power.
Knowing what he's capable of, what kind of management is there in terms of his reps and stuff like that? I mean, I know he's a known quantity, but at the same time, you guys know he can get better as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he and Sony both are a known quantity. Somebody that's played 3 years in this conference over that amount of time. We certainly have those guys out there doing everything with everybody else, but they're not going to get as many totes as some of the younger guys.
Can you, what have you seen from Holloman in terms of his contribution so far?
Well, number one thing is he's very consistent. He's not like most of these freshmen come in, they're up and down, emotional. I'm really good one day, I'm really bad. This kid is just like that. He just stays level-headed, doesn't get affected by criticism. He's had some days that he might be inconsistent catching the ball, but he's never inconsistent with how hard he practices. Meaning he had the highest GPS for the receivers like three straight days, meaning he's running the longest. He's really physical. When you talk to the DBs, they're like, this guy brings a little thump to him, and he's not afraid of contact. He made a couple good plays today as well.
You mentioned Harrion last week, him, Elijah, any other guys on offense?
You talking about last week?
This week that did well this week.
Well, this week offensively, I mean, Tuesday was a lot of guys did really well. Thursday, not many guys did real well offensively. And then today, it was kind of up and down. There was a lot of good plays, some poor pickups, some poor pass protection at times, but a little bit by committee.
Any individual standouts in this scrimmage today?
Not really. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't DeAndre Walker, you might say, stood out defensively. Ben Cleveland was out this scrimmage, so that did make a difference on the two offensive line. So the two offensive line probably didn't do as well as we'd like. And DeAndre had a pretty good scrimmage. DeAndre plays with unbelievable effort, strain, gut, special teams. I mean, he played like on every special team today, and he played with two defense. He really competes hard.
Is Ben dealing with anything serious? And then I guess also D'Angelo what's going on with him?
And D'Angelo will be day to day. Got a shoulder issue he's dealing with. Maybe back by the spring. I'm not sure yet. By the end of the spring. The same thing could be his day to day. So he may be back. I'm not sure if he'll be back for Tuesday or not.
What does Ben have?
I'm not really sure. I'll disclose right now.
Dominic back out there today?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Any new injured today? Anybody get hurt today?
Yeah, Isaac Nada got a shoulder ding. I'm not real sure exactly what it is yet. I think they're doing x-rays on it. And Jeb may have sprained his knee, but doesn't seem to be real serious. Might be similar to Dom's last week. But I don't think we had anybody else today, to be honest with you.
This is your second spring practice, obviously, the head coach. What lessons do you think you've taken from that you learned the first spring to this one? So kind of getting to a week left, getting towards the end.
Well, from first spring to this spring, I would say scrimmaging more, meaning tackling loud more, because we did that a couple practices last week where we didn't do that last year. More situational football. Just what we're saying out there is that here's a situation, make the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator call it, play it. End of game situations. I think every head coach I talk to talks about how you can't practice those enough. So we tried to make a lot of those things happen and emphasize them. And the one other thing is that defensively we have just not gotten any turnovers this spring. So I guess tip your hat to the offense, but it's frustrating defensively that we haven't gotten more. I don't know that we've had a fumble, strip out or knock out or any of that, and very few interceptions. So the offense is protecting the ball well.
This time last year, there was a fever buzz about G-Day, and I've heard you mention it in passing. You want to see it again, but certainly y'all aren't internally marketing or promoting. Are you worried about what your turnout might be?
I'll be honest with you, we are marketing it internally. I mean, we're doing the red versus black, and we're selling that. It's huge. I mean, you can't imagine the effect that it had on recruiting. When you talk to the kids that we just signed, they all tell you that it had a great effect. So, I mean, our fan base should feel challenged. They should want to go out and have more than all these other teams have, because it does help in recruiting. It shows the passion, the energy that I know our fan base has. So that really is important. But as far as my concern for that, I like for our kids to have a great environment to play in all the time, because I think you find out more about kids when they have to play in front of great environments. But I mean, what number we have, I'm not going to sit here and over-unders. I don't think that's that important.
Kirby, how do you think the early signing day will affect how you guys do things? And the other changes that went yesterday, what is significant to you?
Well, the early signing period, having not ever had to deal with that, it's going to be a big change for everybody. What I see happening is you're going to go see the guys that are truly committed less. So they're going to sign in December, and you're going to know that the most consistent commitment that you've had for 12 months, whoever that is going to be done and locked up. So you're going to go see them less. So what are you going to do at that time? People think it's going to cut down on cost. Well, you're not going to spend less because you do that. You're just going to go see somebody else. You know, you're gonna go see the last 10 guys to get. You're gonna go see the next 2019 or 2020 kid more. You know, so you're gonna do something with that time, but you're not gonna go what we call babysit or recruit and just go see them over and over. So I think that's how it'll affect it, but it'll speed up the process on other kids because you'll be going to see them more. As far as the new rules, I mean, the biggest impact was probably the IAWP, you know, the individual associated with prospect would probably be the largest one, and we talked about that last time. You know, I still stand that it's hard in the coaching profession to grow coaches and develop coaches like we do in the SEC without the ability to hire high school coaches. And they still will argue you can still hire them, you just can't hire them as prospects. Well, when you sign 25 a year, it's hard not to hire one that may interact with a prospect. So it does limit those guys, and that's the most disappointing part of it.
Last question.
How did that phone call with you and Coach Muschamp go, where he, I guess, called you out or called the fans out?
No, it really didn't go down that way. Will and I were just talking about his spring game, and we're talking about his attendance more than anything, but wasn't as much to it as it was made out to be. Thank you, guys.